And now she's squeezing the new Charmin bathroom tissue. Please don't squeeze the Charmin.
But Mr. Whipple, this new Charmin bathroom tissue is so soft, so squeezably soft. Fragrant.
Mrs. Logan.
Hello, Zero Books readers and viewers. In this video, I'll be considering how political authority works by examining some of the ideas in our upcoming book, Myth and Mayhem, a leftist critique of Jordan Peterson. Specifically, the ideas in Slavoj Zizek's introduction to the volume.
Back to Jordan Peterson. First, I think that with all his pseudo-scientific reference, he cannot talk about women and marriage without mentioning lobsters, apes, or whatever, all of them, that if you go to the end in this direction, mirroring relations of domination among animals, projecting them onto humans, then we humans are doomed, my God, because humanity as such is unnatural. What is the idea of equality, freedom, and so on and so on? This is human madness.
I want to start somewhere entirely different than this present moment. I want to start with the debate between Jordan Peterson and Slavoj Zizek that happened last year.
Where are the Marxists here? I don't know any. Who is a Marxist here? Well, show me any big names of political correctness. Who are these postmodern, egalitarian, neo-Marxists, and where do you see any kind even of Marxism? I see in it mostly an impotent, an utterly impotent moralization. Please, I'm so sorry that I was too long.
No, that's no problem.
Please.
Well, I mean, organization like Jonathan Haidt's, what's it called?
After the debate, many people on the left felt that Zizek was too conciliatory to Peterson, that he didn't go after him enough, and that in the end, they were in agreement more than they were in disagreement. By going along with Peterson about the dangers of political correctness, by agreeing that there was a PC liberal discourse out there, and that it was ideologically dangerous, Zizek was confirming Peterson and his audience in their worst reactionary tendencies. But what these critiques missed was how Zizek's agreement hinged on a more profound disagreement with Peterson than any of his critics could sustain. The fact is that Peterson and his critics have more fundamental agreements, theoretically, than Zizek and Peterson have.
The radical left people seem to regard the world as it's like a kindergarten contest where people are randomly awarded gold stars.
Yeah.
And some people happen to have more gold stars than others because they have shinier hats or something. They don't understand at all that a huge part of power, of what you might call power, is associated with a tremendous amount of responsibility, that it's also extremely difficult to maintain. They seem to think that if everybody was They seem to think that monetary, let's say that material riches is an untrammeled reward, and it isn't associated with responsibility or work or anything like that.
The supposedly radical liberal contingent of the left and the new supposedly intellectual conservatives both have a theory of power that revolves around the idea of merit. Zizek, on the other hand, has a very different idea about what social power is and about how it works. In the prologue to our upcoming book, Myth and Mayhem, a leftist critique of Jordan Peterson, Zizek wrote, "I think that social power and authority cannot be directly grounded in competence. In our human universe, power, in the sense of exerting authority, is effectively something much more mysterious, even irrational." In response to Peterson's stories about lobsters and hierarchies, I simply claim that there is no such thing as authority in nature. Lobsters have hierarchy, but the top lobster among them has no authority. He rules by force, but he does not exert power in the human sense. Okay, but what is this mysterious power known as human authority, and how does it work? If it isn't based on merit or on practical concerns, what is it based on? One way to understand Zizek's theory of power and authority is to think about the recent toilet paper shortages in America and the UK. A few weeks back, a rumor started to circulate that people were hoarding toilet paper, and this rumor led others, people who would not be prone to hoard toilet paper otherwise, to act in this same way. The logic behind buying massive quantities of toilet paper was this. I don't believe that there's a reason to buy many rolls of toilet paper, but I believe that there are other people who do believe that this is a smart move in a time of crisis. Therefore, before those people buy up and hoard the supply, I'll go to the store and make sure I get mine. How does this relate to power? Well, this way. The US presidential candidate Joe Biden's recent ascendancy is pretty much the same as the rise of the primacy of toilet paper. He's not running as a candidate with any particular abilities or any exciting plans. He doesn't justify his campaign with any concrete reasons behind his taking of power. Quite the contrary, most everyone is well aware that he is very likely to be experiencing cognitive decline and that his political career is the career of an opportunist who blows with the wind and who is more than willing to prostitute himself to moneyed interests. He is not even believed to be a cunning campaigner, but is known to be a man who always gets caught in the lies he tells, who has never been able to avoid self-destruction on the campaign trail, and who is very likely to repeat the same losing strategies that put Trump into the White House in 2016. But what Biden has done is to create the impression that there is some conservative middle who thinks he's the most electable candidate, and that this will get those people to vote for him both in the primaries and in the general election. Nobody has to believe that Biden is a good or strong candidate in order for him to win the nomination. They just have to believe that other people believe it, or even just that other people believe that other people believe it. This is what Zizek sometimes calls the reality of the virtual, or the trash can of ideology. But what Zizek leaves out of his analysis is the material foundation for this trash can. That is, he leaves out the fundamental power or authority that operates through the beliefs that are maintained at the level of production. That is, the really existing ideological specter of capital, which is the ultimate one who is supposed to believe. By leaving that out, he leaves out the beliefs of the powerful. He leaves out the gods that our rulers use to create their power. While it's true that in our society the powerful, like a quack doctor, simply bury their mistakes, the fact is that the way ideology shapes our material lives sets real limits on who can get whom to believe what, or to believe that others believe. Still, all in all, this ideological critique is a good first step for everyone to hold on to. There's no simple, straightforward, merit-based power in the world. There's no state of nature to return to. We are all raccoons eating from the trash can all the time. Thanks for watching this Zero Books video. If you enjoyed it, subscribe to this channel and click on the notifications bell so that you'll be alerted whenever we release a new video. You should also consider supporting us on Patreon. Our patrons get access to our Inside Zero Books podcast every week and can get access to the Zero Books Book Club and help us to continue making online content from the left.